Yo, Browns fans, it is Kenny Mack, and I'm calling to kick off this show, and we're kicking it off with Treyton Welch from the Wyoming Cowboys, and he's number 82 for our Cleveland Browns. So let's hear what the Dawgs got to say, let's hear what he's got to say, and let's kick this party off. Let's go, baby.
Welcome to the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Well, what's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to episode 400 of the Dawgs Podcast. 400. Some of you guys have been here for maybe all 400 episodes. I think there's probably only one person who's watched all 400, and it's probably John Nye.
Yeah. John Nye.
I think he's watched probably close to all 400, but some of you guys have been here since about 385, and we greatly appreciate that. And in fact, don't go back and watch episodes 1 through 14.
No, stay away from those
because they're very
terrible.
bad. If you think we're bad now, we were way worse back then.
Yeah, we're just funny.
But we appreciate you guys being here on this ride with us for now 400 episodes. We wouldn't be here without you guys. We have a very special episode lined up today. We have Browns rookie tight end Treyton Welch joining us here just a little bit. We sit down with him. Awesome interview. So we're excited to talk to him. Before we get to it, though, remember, if you want to leave your voicemails or intros on the show, head to thedawgspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail on the drop-down menu. You'll also find our merch store in the drop-down menu if you want to grab any Dawgs Podcast gear. We got some cool t-shirts and sweaters and stuff up on there. If you're watching on YouTube right now and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. We're trying to get to that 10K subscriber mark before the start of football season. It's a big goal of ours, so if you can help us out, it's greatly appreciated. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you never miss any of the new content we're putting out. Got a lot of good episodes. This is second player interview coming up. Hopefully we can line up even more into this offseason, so you don't want to miss any of the stuff that we're putting out. You can also just listen to the show on Apple, Spotify, and Google if you prefer to just listen. And you can also find us on all the social media pages, obviously, at the Dawgs Podcast. Lastly, if you're looking for more Dawgs content, head to jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dawg Pack member. You get access to the private Discord, play fantasy football season once football season rolls around, and just hang out with Browns fans from Scotland to San Diego, California, and Ottawa.
Yeah.
Anywhere else. We're literally global. It's pretty global.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you want to hang out with us, you want to hang out with other guys from all over the world, talk sports, talk games, music, anything like that, check out jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dawg Pack member. So like I mentioned in the open, we're very excited to welcome special guest to the show, Treyton Welch. First of all, Treyton, I want to thank you for coming on here. This is kind of a monumental episode for the podcast. I forgot to mention, this is episode 400.
That's crazy.
So yeah, this is
Wow.
Yeah, so this is our 400th episode getting you on here. I can't think of a better way than to get a Browns player on here for a monumental episode. So we really appreciate you taking time out of your night, jumping on here, doing an episode with us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Congratulations on 400.
Thanks, man. We started from the bottom. Now we're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So we'll just go ahead and jump into some of these questions. We really appreciate you being here. I guess like just to kind of open it up, how was rookie minicamp, man? Your first NFL rookie minicamp. How did you like it? Was it fun? How do you think it went?
Yeah, it's a lot. And when you get to this level, I guess you could say there's a lot of mental aspects that come to play, and not there wasn't in college, but it's a whole nother level of, you just getting thrown into the playbook on day one, if that makes sense. So it's a lot of learning and, coaches just kind of, putting the playbook on you and seeing what you can kind of collect and put on the field, and so, it was definitely a lot of mental distribution over the weekend. And it was obviously a new experience for me, and it was a fun experience overall.
I forget the exact quote, but I thought I saw Coach Stefanski said something over the weekend about we're going to throw everything we can at them. They're going to be totally overwhelmed, and that's fine. We know that. So I'm not surprised to hear you say that.
I just kind of
absolutely.
We're going to get to a voicemail from one of our Dawg Pack members. Before we do though, I already had a question kind of lined up. So I wanted to just get to that. We actually saw some QBs. I think it was Dan Orlovsky and Chase Daniels online kind of put videos out about past playbooks. And I mean, some of them were like encyclopedias. And I was just, how daunting is that? I guess you touched on a little bit, but like we always hear that so much of the game is mental, but just like, is it overwhelming when they just hand you this big book and say, hey, we're going to learn all this today?
Yeah, typically they do it in installs. So, but the installs are pretty thick in themselves. And just the base information, I think I saw a video on that too, that you're mentioning, but the base information, the formations, the motions, all that kind of stuff, you got to learn the base stuff to, even be able to go out and perform on day one install, if that makes sense. So typically they'll just do, a bunch of different installs. And then you go day by day and learn that install for the next day to go out and, perform at practice and kind of execute it. So it's, they break it up a little bit in terms of just handing you a huge playbook to start out right away, but it's still, each one of those installs are pretty, hefty in themselves. So it's definitely, a lot of learning, and, it's a good thing though, because, when you're watching the Browns on Sunday, they got a lot of, depth to it. It's not just, hey, you go run this. So that's a good thing. You could say that.
Obviously, I've never been involved in an NFL camp. I'm just a silly podcaster. But I did play football, like obviously the lowest levels in, high school and junior high and stuff like that. It always blew my mind. Why does the play call in the NFL need to be the world's longest run-on sentence when in high school you can just say the name of a play and all 11 guys know what the name of that play means? In there, why do we have to explain it to the adults what every single position is going to do on this play in the huddle?
There's a couple different aspects to it, I guess, because sometimes you do just get one word and you got to know what the play is overall, and kind of everybody's on the same page there. So sometimes you get a shorter play call, but then sometimes you get the play calls that you're talking about. And typically that comes in play when the offensive coordinator or the coaches want to run a specific play, but they don't necessarily have the words to say it in one call, if that makes sense. So then they have to tell, okay, this guy's got this guy's got this guy's got this, because we don't have in the playbook one play call that says you guys all have this different aspect of the route. So I think that's, kind of where that comes into play, because like I said, sometimes on the play call sheet or in the playbook, the coaches want to switch something up, but they don't want to switch the whole playbook up. They just want to get a play call with those different aspects. I think that might be where the long calls come from. But
okay.
So it's more like
it's definitely mixed in overall.
Kind of like a hybrid play on the fly. They're just kind of putting it together and making sure everybody knows what to do, but they're not changing the essence of the base play. Okay, that makes sense.
And that could end up being a base play. So it could end up being in the playbook, and so that's where you probably get those in the playbook. And then there's some just plays flat out in the playbook that are pretty long. It's just the way it is. But
well, and it kind of helps us understand as fans, viewing the games from our couches. Just because you see a guy run a route, it's like he definitely wasn't where he's supposed to be, or this guy looked totally lost. That really, it's understandable whenever you look at it and understand what's going on.
Yeah, I think like an adult's attention span is like 8 seconds, and if the play calls 12 seconds and your role was at the end, you might have forgot. You might not have been paying attention. So we had, like I said, we had the voicemail from Kenny Mack, our guy in the dog pack. He wants to add some questions about training camp. So we'll go ahead and jump to that, and we'll see what Kenny has to say.
Yo, guys, it's Kenny Mack, and I'm calling in to talk to Treyton. Treyton, how's it going from Ottawa, Canada? You got some fans up here with the Ottawa Browns backers. What I want to ask you, number one, what were you hoping to get out of your mini camp that you just got out of, whether it was strength, nutrition tips, or just some football overall for you? You're a pretty well-rounded player. Other question I have for you, man, I was in Las Vegas when you played the Rebels, and you had a great game. 3 catches, 50 yards, great blocking. Unfortunately, you guys didn't win that game. I want to know, it cost you a shot at winning your division. What did you learn from that, and what were your takeaways? Cheers, my man. I'm out.
Yeah, so first off, just the rookie minicamp aspect, I think I just want to go in and learn as much as I can, kind of as we talked about, just get the base of the offense, get everything down, meet new people, kind of give a great first impression, if you will, and just kind of be myself, because you don't have to be anybody but yourself, and so being grounded in Christ is hugely important for me. And so go in and just, like I said, soak up as much information as I can and just be who I am, so, And then, on to the next question. That was a heartbreaker against UNLV, and they were a solid team this year. The Mountain West is no joke. The conference as a whole, and I think it was before that we had lost to Boise State, and that kind of hurt ourselves. And then going into UNLV, it's just one of those things that, in any level of football and in any situation, every game matters. And that's the mindset that you got to have going into every single game, is every single game matters like it's the last of the season, And football is a really cool sport where most games in the regular season do impact the postseason, if that makes sense. So like, there's only 12 games in college ball regular season, so every single one of those games matter, and you got to play every single one. Like, it impacts the off season or the postseason, because it does. So for us, it was devastating to lose one of those important games.
Yeah. So, coming out of minicamp, I guess, you, and especially you being a tight end, Tommy Rees is the new tight end coach there in Cleveland. And, we've talked about him on the show ever since they brought him in and all that. But what was your first impression of Tommy Rees? And, did you get to have a lot of interaction with him, or just what was your experience over the weekend with him?
He's a great guy. He was in my shoes years ago, so he kind of knows what the experience is like, and so that's kind of cool to have as your coach, be able to, soak some knowledge up from him and get some advice from him, which is pretty cool over the weekend. But he's a great guy who knows football and knows what he's talking about. So it's really exciting to continue to gain information from him from a football perspective overall. And like I said, he's a great guy too. So I'm excited to continue to build that relationship.
I mean, I know tight end for sure is, I know this is a little off the script here, but just it's one of those positions where when we saw that the Browns had signed you, that you were coming to Cleveland, it was like, oh, okay, this is kind of a bigger deal than a lot of people might realize, just because that is a position where we don't have a ton of depth. And there's a great opportunity in that area of the roster for you to carve out a role. And it's very exciting to see you at rookie minicamp and to be following along. But what's your mindset as far as just approaching the team, and what is your, I guess, what's your expectation for yourself moving, through the summer here?
Yeah, I'm my biggest critic. And so every day I'm going to hold myself to a standard that, nobody else really holds me to, even though there's standards being held no matter what, by coaches and team and everything. But I'll hold myself to, very high standards. And for me, my biggest competition is myself. You hear that everywhere, but I think it's important to, stay in your lane, if you will, and put one foot in front of the other every day. And so for me, that, is putting one foot in front of the other every single day and taking one day at a time and trusting in the Lord's will and submitting to the Lord's will. So it's, I know it's tough no matter how you look at it. Everybody, the NFL is a cutthroat business, if you will. And I'm sure you guys have heard that too. But so for me, it's one day at a time, one day at a time, give 100% effort one day at a time. And don't necessarily have a scope looking down the calendar, have goals in mind, but one day at a time, increments change over a long period of time.
So much of making it in the NFL is, I feel like it's fit. You know what I mean? Like I think there's been some like really, really talented players throughout the league's history that might have not have gone on to be what they could have been because where they got drafted or traded to or signed or whatever, it just wasn't a good fit for them either stylistically or, philosophy wise with the coaching staff. So how did you, I think I saw you had, kind of your pick of the litter of where you wanted to sign, post draft. How did you land on Cleveland as it being like, this is the right fit for me, where I can go and kind of, put my stamp on it?
It's certainly something that you talk about with your agent. If you fall through the draft, you got to look at where you want to go, and on paper, what does that look like and whatnot. And prayer was certainly a big piece of that, the biggest piece of it. And for me, I think it, I think I might have told you guys, but Coach Tommy Reese was on the phone with me a little bit. Coach Vrabel was on the phone with me a little bit. So there's interest from the Browns. And so I think that's a big piece too, is if, they're interested, then that's a big factor in it. And so those are kind of a couple of things that went into that decision.
That's right. Okay, so now I'm remembering that conversation. I did read that where they were staying in touch with you throughout the entire draft, right? The Browns were making sure that they were calling you and keeping you, keeping connected with you. What's been, I guess we're going to let you ask a question. I swear, Justin.
You're good. You're good.
What's been your, your overall, I guess I don't know, reaction, but to the Browns coaching staff? You got Stefanski's now a 2-time coach of the year. He's been coach of the year 50% of the time years he's been a head coach. We got Jim Schwartz, who's kind of almost like a legendary defensive coordinator. Mike Vrabel is kind of he's a legend in the NFL as a player and in college, and he was a great coach in Tennessee. So what's kind of been your impression of just the coaching staff there in Cleveland? Like, how have they made you feel welcome, how they run things? You can even include Andrew Berry in that. I feel like he's very detail oriented. What's just been your overall impression so far of the staff?
It's very professional, and they do a great job of leading the organization in the way that they want it to go. I've noticed that they're very firm in leadership, and like I said, they're very professional with what they do. So they're great. I mean, it's great to come into a building with such a great group of coaches and a great group of men who are willing to lead, our team into the right direction, and that's win a Super Bowl. So they make it very clear what their standards are, and I think they intentionally, like I mentioned before, put one foot in front of the other every single day in order to get the team where they want the team to be. So I think that it's a great staff overall, and I'm blessed to be here.
Hey, so I just kind of wanted to ask you, I'm guessing the last few months have been kind of crazy. What was the whole pre-draft process like, and just your experience with it?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot, but I think it's different for everybody too. I wasn't a combine guy. I went to the College Gridiron Showcase for a weekend. So all that stuff, there wasn't a ton for me there. So I'm sure there was for other guys. But throughout the whole process, it's a major interview. It's a huge interview daily for months. So that was the biggest thing, is just every single day. What are you doing on the field to stay ready? What are you doing off the field to stay ready? In interview processes. Can you collect information that coaches are giving you, and then relay it, and everything in between? So it's definitely, just think of it as a very, very long interview that's both physical and mental. And the pro day, it was my combine, and that's a fun process to get ready for, especially with the guys that I had out there. Coach E was my strength coach at Wyoming. He's great at what he does. Easton and Andrew. It was a great process of just being able to work out with those guys and continue that relationship as well. So
this episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Dog Pack, Memorial Day is almost here, and that means it's time to get fired up for grilling season. So sweep off your deck, throw back the grill cover, and fire up the mouth-watering flavor of Omaha Steaks when you go to omahasteaks.com/dogs and get 50% off site-wide with Omaha Steaks Memorial Day sale. That's 50% off everything Omaha Steaks has to offer, not just the steaks, which are absolutely incredible, but they've also got awesome jumbo franks, brats, chicken, seafood. They've got pork. They've got appetizers. I just ordered a bunch of meatballs and chicken wings for my freezer to get ready for grilling season. So head over to omahasteaks.com/dogs and see what they have to offer. This is a great opportunity to get a great deal on great food. omahasteaks.com/dogs, 50% off site-wide Memorial Day sale, and use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out. You'll get an extra $30 off your order. Omaha Steaks isn't just steak, it's the best steak of your life. guaranteed. So load up on all the summer classics for half the price at omahasteaks.com/dogs. And don't forget to use our promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out and get that extra $30 off your order. You got to hurry. The Memorial Day sale will be gone before you know it. That's omahasteaks.com/dogs, promo code DAWGS when you check out for an extra $30 off your order. Minimum order may be required.
Is it almost a mental relief to be done with that, and now you're just playing football again? You know what I mean? Like, as a football player, I feel like I know you're trying to make a team. You're getting handed a lot of mental work with a playbook. You're going up against professional athletes, so it's obviously tough. But like, this is what you do. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you've been doing your whole life. You're a football player. You're not necessarily an interview artist. You know, you're not a workout guy who's just, you know, running cone drills. Like, you're a football player. Is it almost a relief in a sense to just be like, okay, I'm back to doing what it is I do?
It's nice to be on the Cleveland Browns, you know, because in the interview process, you don't know where you'll end up. You don't know which team you'll be playing for. So every team has their own questions for you. Every team has their own, you know, expectations and whatnot, interview process. So it's really nice to be a Cleveland Browns and pursue the same goal that the Cleveland Browns have and be on the team. You know, that's the nice part, is being on one team, the Cleveland Browns.
That's awesome. Well, we like that you're a Cleveland Brown.
Oh yeah, this is awesome. We had a question from another member of our Dog Pack group on Patreon, and it was kind of, I'm just going to read through that, and then I'm going to mention what Barry Shuck from Dogs by Nature wrote about you on their website. He's kind of one of our, I don't know, I guess, leading correspondents. We talk to him all the time on the podcast here. But the Dog Pack member said, you know, given the team's interest using David Njoku more on the outside as a receiver, how do you feel that your inline blocking skills as a traditional wide tight end contribute to your overall versatility and your effectiveness on the field? And then when I was reading Barry Shuck, he was talking about how your skill set with being very athletic, you got like, what was it, an 8.75 RAS?
I don't remember.
Well, we were impressed with it. Let's put it that way. We're impressed with that. And so anyway, he was mentioning that your skill set would fit in Cleveland very well because you actually could contribute more as a move tight end, and that would maximize your athleticism more in the play action game. So I guess that question is just kind of, where do you see your skill set lining up the most effectively in the Browns offense?
I want to be a guy that the coaches can rely on in any situation, in doing the best of my ability in that situation. So I want to be a guy that is so willing to block and extremely willing to catch the ball as well. I don't want to be a guy that says I only do one or the other, or I'll only do this or this scheme or whatever. I want to be a guy who is extremely willing to do everything that the coaches, you know, want and expect me to do, and do it to the best of my ability, and do everything I can to get better at that, you know, because it's a process, and I always like to tell myself I need to get better at everything. You know, I'm not satisfied in anything that I have going on right now. I want to get and need to get better at everything. So for me, I guess to answer the question is, I want to be a guy that is extremely willing to do anything that the coaches want or expect me to do to the best of my ability.
That's awesome. I mean, I was reading stuff about you, and I think it was your high school coach. Maybe they said that they refer to you as glue hands or glue handed or something like that, because you catch everything. You did you just set high school records, or almost set your high school records or something like that in receiving, right?
Yeah, I think whatever it is or means, I was the second all-time leading receiver in Minnesota behind Michael Floyd.
Okay,
so
that's what it was.
I don't know exactly which categories, but yeah. So
it's very impressive, and you seem like the kind of guy who would remember every drop you ever had, if you've ever had any. You know what I mean? Like that, if you dropped one pass out of 300, that one drop would kill you. Am I right?
Appalachian State this year.
I knew it.
We're big Appalachian State fans on this program for what they did to the team up north. I guess I kind of want to jump in here. Speaking on, you know, you want to be versatile, do everything the coach asks. Has there been a particular tight end that you've maybe modeled your game after, or any of these guys in the pros that you've kind of watched a lot of tape on to pick up things on? Anybody you've talked to?
I think in watching film, like Antonio Gates is a guy who's just incredible at what he did, you know, and guys like that, and George Kittle too, like a guy who is extremely willing to do both. It seems like, own the run game and own the pass game and do the best visibility in both. And so he's a guy that you can certainly look up to in the sense of no matter what it is, that he just seems like he wants to attack it. So that's kind of what I want to do as well, to the best of my ability.
I was gonna say, we've got a guy like that already on the roster too, right there at your position, that you can learn from. I mean, David Njoku, we talk about him all the time as a guy who has just embraced the role of whatever you want me to do, I'm going to knock it out of the park.
So yeah, and he's a guy that, since he was at Miami, he's been a guy that I've looked up to as well, because he is so versatile, and he's a guy that can, like we've talked about, block a defensive end and also go and just make a one-handed catch on 4th and 10 or whatever it was in that game and send it to overtime. So he's definitely one to watch for sure, and I appreciate that.
Josh kind of touched on it with the glue hands, the nickname. Is that your nickname, man, or what's a nickname that you go by, by teammates or coaches or anything like that?
No, interestingly enough, I've never really had a nickname that stuck.
Okay.
People call me Trey or T or Treyton, but no, I've never had. I mean, people will say what they want with all that stuff, but I've never had a nickname that's stuck, if you will. So, yeah.
So then I guess maybe this will sound weird, but because you're like on a team now, I'm starstruck talking to you because you're on the Browns. You as a new rookie coming in, a younger guy, I would imagine some of these players, like you've been watching them, or is there anybody like on the team or maybe even around the league that you're gonna be like, holy crap, there's David Njoku. I can't believe I'm this close to, what I mean? Like, is there anybody that's going to leave you starstruck?
I think any situation that there's a vet that you will watch on TV, it's an extremely great opportunity to learn from them, and so a guy like David Njoku, Deshaun Watson, Myles Garrett, I want to learn as much as I can from them, so I can continue to, strive for, like I said, putting one foot in front of the other. So anytime there's an opportunity, with guys like that who are elite in the league, to be able to learn from that is huge and important. And I've heard from, everything I've heard on the team here, they're extremely willing to teach you those things. So I really appreciate that. I'm excited for it.
I got a quick question I just thought of. Have you ever taken snaps under center?
Like quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that would mean. Yeah, I played quarterback all the way through freshman year of high school.
Okay. Whoa, look at that. There might be even more of a role for you.
Yeah, I don't know how much you watched the Browns last year, but Harrison Bryant was essentially our 4th and 1 quarterback sneak in and all that stuff. So,
yeah, if we did a QB sneak or like an attempted like tush push type thing, it was Harrison Bryant every time taking the snap under center. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, that's right. We are going to need somebody to do that.
Good. Interesting.
So I'm doing some research, man, and I come across this epic picture on ESPN of you, just this awesome, dope mustache. So I got to ask, what's going on? Are you putting wax in that thing? I see it's trimmed down now. I respect the facial hair look on it, man, but we going wax on that thing? We all natural? That's an epic picture, though.
I won't lie to you. I think that was one of the times I dyed my mustache. So that's probably why.
Well, it looked good, man. It was very solid.
I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Justin, I think you had another one on here.
I did.
We skipped you all a bunch of times.
That's okay. I guess so. We saw that you got to pick a number and everything too, man. How does that work coming in as like a UDFA? Do they just give you a sheet basically with what's, the last remaining numbers up to, I'm guessing, 99 and go, what do you think, man? We saw you were pretty close to your college number. And then does that number have any significance for you?
Yeah, I actually did not get to pick my number. I think the draft guys might get to pick their number.
Okay.
I'm not sure 100%. It might, differ from team to team as well, but I did not get to pick my number, but I think it's pretty cool to get 82. Right. I think it's cool to, be from 81 in college to 82 now. I think that's pretty neat, but yeah, I'm excited about 82. I know that there's a big time Browns player that wore 82 back in the day, and And, that's pretty cool. So
Awesome, man.
I guess kind of in lines with that, I saw this video of guys, it said how they got fitted for cleats. And maybe I'm weird, but I just thought you just tried shoes on. But they were like wearing these socks, and it measures like every millimeter of their foot. And then there's different spikes for how much you weigh. Did you get to do any of that? Like, did you get to get your feet measured?
Yeah, it was like to the dot. I think my right foot was like size 13.5. My left foot was 13.6 or something.
That's wild. I saw that and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, no, it's cool technology they got for sure.
Let me see here. Do you want to ask your last one here, Josh?
Well, the last question was kind of from Barry Shuck's thing, and you kind of already answered this, but maybe we'll get you to give a little different answer. We'll see. But he was just talking about tell me if this is right. When you were in like middle school, I think you wrote goals and posted them on your bedroom wall, and the list of goals it was pretty cool. It was make varsity, start on varsity, make the Nike opening football camp, make the U.S. national team, play Division I football, and play in the NFL. And so you've essentially crossed off all those goals. Playing the NFL is where you're at right now. And I mean, technically you've signed with an NFL team. You've been to a rookie minicamp. You're part of the roster. So the whole goal of playing the NFL now, I'm sure has all these other branches to it. So, you were talking at the start of the show, take one day at a time, one step at a time, but I guess what's the next step for you then in that process?
Yeah, I think it's one of those questions that, obviously it'd be incredible to, have a successful career and win a Super Bowl with the team, because that's number one, the standards that we have as a team, and make the All-Pro team, go to the Pro Bowl. All that stuff would be great. But I think, instead of looking at things that fade, for me, it's because even I think Tom Brady had a 90-minute episode or whatever it is, and 60-minute, whatever. And he, after his fourth Super Bowl ring, maybe, he said, I just still feel like there's something missing. And so when you look at a guy who's extremely successful, won Super Bowls, is one of the probably the best player of all time, and he still felt like there's something missing. I think for me, I just want to every single day know that I didn't leave anything on the field and use my platform for God's glory, for something that lasts forever, because our lives are a mist that appears a little while and vanishes, and everything is left behind except for what we do for the Lord's kingdom and as God through us. So for me, going along with, I know you kind of want a different answer, but going along with the one foot in front of the other every single day, something just going forward every single day is, in order to be successful, I want to know that I didn't leave anything on the field and that I gave my all on 100%. And like I said, it would be extremely cool to win a Super Bowl with the team, because that's first and foremost, and, go to the Pro Bowl and make the All-Pro team and maybe be in the Hall of Fame someday. Those are all things that, would be really cool and that I would definitely strive for. But for me, it's knowing that I didn't leave anything on the field and use my platform for God's glory and hopefully make a difference in that. So
that's awesome. It kind of fits in line with your moving from 81 to 82, just one step at a time, right? Just the next step. But I mean, so as far as like summer schedule and all that, is it just, are you on your own now away from the facility until OTAs, which are in a couple weeks, I think, right?
Yeah, we're rolling. I mean, rookies, I think, is a little bit different. Early on, guys, we're rolling still with practices and stuff like that. So I think, I don't know exactly. I'm all new to it as well, so it's hard to know what to expect. But yeah, we'll find out, I guess. So I'm not off on my own right now. That's all.
Okay, so like rookie mini camp didn't just end and now everybody just went their own way for a few weeks. Like you guys are all still okay. All right, gotcha. Cool.
I think it's kind of cool. I mean, obviously we don't know, and I think a lot of people listen. It's kind of cool to get a glimpse into like a day in the life. You know what I mean? We don't get to see it from players' side and players' perspective a lot. So I think a lot of people appreciate kind of seeing what it is you're going through. You're just replanted yourself into a different state. I don't know if you'd ever been to Ohio. So now you're away from friends, family. So it's good to know that you're not just They don't just say, "Hey, thanks for your 2 days. Now we'll see you in a month."
Yeah.
You know.
And actually, like, you know, just being there with the rookies and everything, because that's really all it is right now. So, I mean, what's your impression of the rest of the young guys coming in with you this season? I mean, is there anybody you've kind of like hit it off with, you're kind of palling around with, you know, or anything like that?
They're all great guys as well. They're all, you know, focused on learning as well. And kind of, like I mentioned many times, putting one foot in front of the other, taking it one day at a time. And so they're all very, very great guys, you know, and we had the opportunity to talk to some older guys, just kind of about what to expect as rookies. And they did a phenomenal job of kind of, you know, being a leader in a way and just kind of telling us what to expect going into this year and how difficult and great it can be, you know. So I think with the group of guys, you'll find that this rookie class is a great group of young men. That's
awesome. That's good to hear. And
so,
I think the Browns have done a really good job of kind of building a culture since AB and Stefanski have come in as like, we're a team that takes care of their own. They take care of their players. Like you said, they make it known that this is the standard and this is what we expect, but they do it in the right way, and they like treat people with respect. And even if they got to make a hard call down the road with a player or whatever, like they do it in the right way. And so I think it's good to see that we just have a team in a front office that treats people the right way. So then before we wrap this up, we learned about you, the football player, what you got going on, your goals. Just what about you, the person? What do you like? What do you do? Are you a gamer? Well, we have a lot of gamers in the Discord. You know, just what do you do in your free time when you're not doing football?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I'm sure you guys kind of figured it out by now, but you know, I'm a believer in Christ and that Jesus is Lord of my life and Jesus is Lord of our lives. So, that's, you know, that is my life. That's not just part of it. That is my life. And so outside of football, there's, my fiance actually, was a big golfer growing up. So I got into learning how to play golf 3 or 4 years ago now. And that's been a journey. I don't know if you guys golf or not.
Oh yeah,
I attempt it.
Yeah, we try to.
I go to the golf course and I swing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, bogey golf is good golf.
Yes.
Oh man, absolutely.
Yeah. So that is something that I love to do with friends and family, certainly, and my fiance, of course, is playing golf. It's great to be outside and do that, and always have that one shot that makes you come back the next day.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
It's how they get you.
And then yeah, exactly. And so and I'm also just a big family guy too. So, you know, outside of football, I love hanging out with family and friends. Getting married in June. So
I was going to ask if you got a date. Okay. That's cool, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's coming right up.
Thank you. It is. It's coming right up.
How's that wedding planning process been for you? About the same as golf?
Well, if my fiance swung my golf club, it would be the same because she's doing a lot of the planning. But
are you going anywhere sweet for the honeymoon, or are you kind of like stuck in football mode right now?
It'll be a little bit of both. I'll probably be doing workouts on the beach, you know.
Okay.
So there's a small honeymoon planned. But yeah, we'll see. It's definitely a focus to stay in shape for sure.
A workout on the beach is better than a workout in
pretty much anywhere else.
Knock on Cleveland, but in Cleveland. And I love Cleveland as much as the next guy, but it's not the beach. We appreciate you being here, taking time in. This was awesome, getting to know you, getting to learn a little bit about the ins and outs of, you know, what it means to be a rookie in camp. We appreciate you taking the time. Huge congratulations on being engaged in the wedding. Man. That's exciting. Josh just got married not that long ago. I think we're all married still, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I'm going on 8 years.
Yeah. So that's awesome for you. We appreciate you taking the time being here, and this was an awesome talk, man.
I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys, and congrats on on being married too.
Most days it's awesome. No, I'm just joking. If you're listening, every day is awesome.
Every day is great.
Yes.
They don't listen. It's okay. But
Yeah.
I was going to tell you, hopefully we get a chance to get up to training camp. We usually come up once or twice, during the sessions and everything. So if we get up there, we'll try to hit you up on X and see if we can't meet you in person and all that stuff and tell you congratulations once again.
That'd be great. Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll let you get out of here, get something to eat tonight for dinner. And again, we appreciate you being here, and good luck with the rest of camp and heading into the rest of the off season.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
You too. Once again, we want to thank Treyton for joining us for episode 400. Awesome interview. Great guy. Rooting big time for him. Hopefully we get to see him here all season. Hopefully we get to go up and meet him in training camp. Can't wait to hang out with him in person. Maybe get a round of golf in. I'm just talking now. He didn't agree to do any of this. So Treyton, if you're watching, I'm sorry. You don't have to go golfing with me.
Sounds like we all play about the same.
Yes. If you want, I'll go out and shoot a 63 with you.
It'd be a terrible scramble team.
Yes. We'll shoot 6 over par in our 4-man scramble. But no, we appreciate him taking time. It's obviously a very busy time for him. He's got a lot going on. So just taking a half hour out with us, and we greatly appreciate it. We appreciate everybody here who's been tuning in for 400 episodes, watching with us along the ups and downs of what is typically a Browns season and an off season. So we wouldn't be here without you guys. We appreciate every single one of you guys. And we'll see you guys sometime next week. Maybe we'll be live. Maybe.
Sure.
I don't know. We haven't decided. We kind of just wing it. Yeah. So we'll see you guys sometime next week, most likely.
Good closing.
Woo! Yeah, stuck the landing.
I like to just leave them guessing. Always
great triple vault with the broken ankle in the end.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.